let's take a look at rookie faceplant wide receivers and just dig into the data. Does it make sense to buy low on these rookies that have bad rookie seasons? Like, that's the hypothesis here. I want to look at the data and figure out, does it make sense? Now, I do this video every offseason. I've done it 3 straight years now, and it is one of my favorites because we're just digging into the data, trying to find, edges in strategy and roster building, etc., based on, how people perceive value in Dynasty. So the first thing we got to look at is what dictates a faceplant wide receiver for rookies. Well, for me, it's very simple, right? Did they top 500 yards their first year in the league? I don't care if they were injured, if they were suspended, if their quarterback got hurt. None of it matters. Very low bar. Did they get over 500 yards? That is step 1 for me. Step 2 is, were they drafted in round 1, round 2, or round 3 of the NFL draft? If they're drafted on day 3, look, they already have low expectations, but day 1, day 2 guys, they're expected to be impact players. They are expected to contribute to an NFL roster almost right away and most of the time. So that's the subset, right? Under 500 yards, drafted day 1, drafted day 2. Now, the third piece of this is, what do they do in year 2? Do they go over 750 yards? The reason I care about 750 is that means they were good enough to improve, 1, from their rookie season that was bad, and 2, they are trending towards that potential year 3 breakout. You want to see these guys take exponential leaps from year 1 to year 2. That's what I'm trying to figure out, right? Who under 500 goes over 750 in year 2? Because the hypothesis is, if you trade or buy low on a guy that has a bad rookie year and they don't take a big step in year 2, that player likely loses further value. And that means you could have waited 2 years and then bought low heading into year 3 if you still believed in that guy, right? Nico Collins, Devontae Adams, I think are really, really good examples that, we've kind of talked about years and years ago. So let's look at the data. What do our numbers say? If we go back to 2011, between 2011 and 2023, there were 190 wide receivers drafted on day 1 and day 2. Of that 190, 100 of them did not top 500 yards. So, I mean, just at face value, right? Less than 50% of rookie wide receivers are getting over that mark in, high profile draft capital slots. Of that 100, who went over 750 in year 2? 8 players. 8 players in 13 years went over 750 yards after not topping 500 yards their rookie year. That is 8%. That number should scare the crap out of you when you hear people talking about buying low on these bad rookie wide receivers, because it is a difficult thing to do in year 2, to just simply turn your career around after having a bad rookie season for whatever reason. Again, we're not filtering out for injuries or suspension. Everybody's lumped in here, and you're still not getting a ton of breakouts in year 2. And I think, look, we need to look at the 8 guys, because this is important. Because, look, are the 8 guys sustaining success, or are they just becoming flashes in the pan? Well, if we look at our 8, you have Alshon Jeffrey, who I think is probably the best wide receiver of this group. He gave us multiple relevant fantasy seasons. You have Van Jefferson, we know. You have Corey Davis, we know. You have DJ Chark, who gave us 1 good season, really. You have Randall Cobb, who was, flirted with top 24 a couple of times, was semi-relevant, but really a wide receiver 3 or worse. You have Kenny Golladay, who was a multi-year flash in the pan and then flamed out. You have Josh Palmer, who is pretty average at best. And then actually the latest addition to the group from 2023 is Jameson Williams. And I just took his rookie year out of the equation because he was not healthy. So I kind of cheated my own rules. But Jameson Williams, right, in his actual year 3, in my samples year 2, goes over 750. And I was, famously wrong on Jameson Williams. I think everybody that watches this channel knows that. He looked great this year. He took a huge step forward. He is one of the 8. Now, I think next season's going to be really important to figure out which bucket does he fall into. Is he more of the Alshon Jeffrey, or is he more of the DJ Chark? I don't know yet, but I'm not trying to dig into that in this video. But basically, even the guys that exceeded expectations in year 2 really didn't live up to much. It is a dark, dark group to look at because there's just not a lot of bright spots. Now, I did mention, right, if players miss both these thresholds, right? Under 500, under 750 back-to-back seasons, does that mean they will never break out? No, of course not. You need to pick and choose. You need to be smart about the players you're looking to buy. The whole, again, hypothesis here is if I didn't buy low on Nico Collins after his rookie year, was I, at a deficit in year two when I was trying to buy him, right? Maybe after his second season. He got cheaper from year one to year two to year three. He was the cheapest he ever had been heading into his third season because he just didn't do well year one and year two. Now, we talked about it. Like, Nico Collins was a great buy for us heading into year three because we still believed, right? Right. When you look at his rookie target share, it jumps all the way up to 19.1% in year two. And when you factor in the situation change, right, with Brandon Cooks out the door, Nico Collins could be in that 20 to 23% range in year three. So this is not just a blanket, you forget these guys forever and you never talk about them again if they don't hit, year one or year two. But you can go and buy them dirt cheap. And that's what really matters here. That's the interesting thing. That's how you win in Dynasty and find these late breakouts, is buying in on players that everybody else has kind of given up on, but buying in on them for the right reasons. The important question is now, who falls into this group in 2024? So just going down the list, like Ricky Pearsall, obviously, 400 yards on the season, misses it because of injury, and now Deebo Samuel's getting traded. Maybe he's an interesting buy here, but I think with Deebo requesting a trade or looking for a way out, his value is going to increase, which makes him a tough get at the current price. In addition to him, you have Xavier Legette, right? 497, just misses the mark. But I think a lot of us believe Jalen Coker might be the better wide receiver in this group, and they might get T. Higgins. So there's issues there. You have Jalen McMillan, who personally I like. If I'm buying, Jalen McMillan is going to be one that I go and chase. Him and Ricky Pearsall, if I had to pick two from this group, realistically are the two I'm going to chase, going against my own rules here, honestly. In addition to that, though, you have Jalen Polk, Malachi Corley, Roman Wilson, Luke McCaffrey. It's an ugly, ugly group. Guys, I'm not going to recommend you go and buy low on. The other one is going to be Adonai Mitchell. I really liked him coming out of the draft, but was outproduced by Alec Pierce, who had not been a good wide receiver for most of his career. Obviously was outproduced by Michael Pittman, Josh Downs. He's fighting an uphill battle, and I don't see it getting better this season. But look, if you still believe in the talent, I feel very confident in saying Adonai Mitchell will be cheaper this time next year and will be a better target to buy than he is right now. So again, you look at this group of 9. There's 2 I feel comfortable buying. There are 7 I'm not touching this season, and there's 1 additional I'd be maybe okay with buying heading into year 3. Now, look, this does not need to be your list of like no-touch players, like, fully off limits. I get if you don't want to go that route, but I'm just saying exercise a lot of caution when you're looking at these types of players, because the year 2 numbers traditionally do not favor them. That is what we're trying to tell you. Those are the big red flashing lights that just say, be careful with your buy low targets and make sure you're doing it, 1, for the right reasons, and 2, at the right price.